good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Tea Time with Miss Liz. That's right, it's tea time again. It's been a while, but I'm back. And today I'm joined in the studio with Chantal Cote from Pyramid Psychology. And I'm going to just introduce her a little bit with her bio, and then we're going to get right into all the incredible things that this woman is doing and the incredible goal that she has to impact 100,000 teen girls. That's right, 100,000 teen girls. So she's going to tell you more about that. But a little bit more on Chantal. So Chantal Cote is from Pyramid Psychology, a Calgary counseling service. Chantal has a goal to impact 100,000 teen girls this year. One word that describes Chantal: she's calming and accepting. Chantal is one of the most open humans ever, and this is from a coworker. She is a registered psychologist working with teens and their parents in Calgary, Alberta. She was born in Ontario and raised here in Alberta. Her family is bilingual, and she is very grateful that they forced us to speak French growing up. She loves being this close to the mountains, nature, and in her opinion, some of the most amazing sunrises and sunsets landscapes in the world. One day she might trade in her winter jacket for a bathing suit and a pair of flip flops, but for now, Calgary is home. She loves moving, whether it's walks, weight training, long bike rides, or playing ball hockey with her teens and friends and family. She is most at peace when surrounded by loved ones and outdoors. She loves laughter, meditation, meaningful conversations, animals of all kinds, podcasts, and good books. It has been her privilege to travel to different parts of the world. She looks forward to traveling again and meet fascinating and resilient people all over, including right in her backyard. So, welcome, Chantal. It is an honor to have you. So, how did it all begin? Tell us your story.
Oh, yes. At first, I have to say I was just bopping along to the music of your videos. I loved it. And it just brought me such joy.
I know it was
How
all
did
over the
it
place,
all
right?
get? I loved it. I loved it. I have to say that, it probably got started when I was a teen myself. And I was someone who was incredibly shy to the point where I had trouble talking to people without stuttering or getting sweaty all over, and I really struggled. I had all these stories about who I was and how I wasn't enough, and um, when I graduated grade 12, I decided, this is enough. I'm done with this. This is not how I want to live my life, all like reclused and not able to even talk to the person next door. And so I decided that I was going to go travel somewhere, and I picked China. It was a very random pick. I basically like took a finger on a globe and said, I'm going to go somewhere where I don't speak the language and I know nothing about the culture, and I am going to find myself.
I love that you went to China. I want to
I
go to China.
it is incredible, incredible and hard and all kinds of things, but it was a really an incredible kind of soul searching journey, if you will. So I don't know, like when I was there, I just saw a lot of different things, and I learned a lot about myself. I also learned a lot about the culture and just social issues, and it really kind of, I don't know, it lit up a fire in me around um, what I wanted to do and how I wanted to show up in this world. And when I came back to Canada, I didn't know exactly what that was going to be, but I did know that it meant that I was going to be contributing and giving back. It was just like that I had decided on. And then I had to find what that was going to look like and who the people I wanted to support or make a difference, if you will, with. And I fell
I love it.
upon,
Make a difference. You're talking
yeah.
my language.
Yes, and it spoke so much to me. So I ended up volunteering with refugee families and youth. That's kind of where that journey began. Uh, Loved that so much. Learned so much from these people who had incredibly difficult experiences, adversity that I couldn't even imagine or fathom as a, someone who was born and raised in Canada, and so humbled and really inspired. I was so inspired by how these youth were coming to Canada and having to start over in so many different ways, and they were resilient, and they were finding their way through all these hurdles, and that kind of nailed in for me that it's like, okay, youth, I want to work with youth. That's the population that lights me up. I see so much potential. I see so much resilience. I'm humbled, inspired, and that kind of like snowballed from there.
So it wasn't like a school thing, like when you were in school and you wanted to work with youth. You got that from your trip to China?
I would say so. I mean, when I was in school, I did take like a psychology class. I think it must have been in high school, and I was very interested by it. I don't know that I knew what I wanted to do at that point. I mean, I think that I was interested and fascinated by humans and stories and stuff like that. But certainly wasn't until I came back from China that I had really decided like this is where my being called to show up.
Oh, that is awesome. So where'd you go next?
Oh, okay. So I continue to work with refugee youth primarily, and instead of volunteering, I got a job there, and I was a program coordinator, so I was working with youth. And part of the work that we did was to help youth and families access mental health services that would support them. And so I got an opportunity to meet with different therapists, social workers, psychologists who were kind of like I say on the other side. And what I mean by on the other side is they were offering the supports to these families and to these youth to support their mental health and to get them to get to a place where they were succeeding and feeling good about themselves and making the changes they wanted, and just like just being their best selves, I guess I could call it. And I was really inspired by the work they were doing, so I got to know these therapists, and I thought, maybe I could do something like that.
See, and you gave it a try, and that's what we were talking about before we got on Teatime was, if we don't try, we don't know, right?
Yeah. Oh, you bet. And yeah, I kept putting it off. I thought maybe I could do this, but I kept putting it off. And then eventually I applied for my master's. I also had all these stories about the kind of person I was. Like, I'm not smart enough to do this, or I don't have good enough grades. All these stories that we tell ourselves that hold us back from doing things. And so I had to kind of blow past some of those, and I applied for my master's, and I was accepted, and I completed that. So I was doing it. I was in that process of like, okay, I'm going to become a therapist, a psychologist, and I'm going to follow this dream.
So you want to impact 100,000 teen girls this year.
Yeah.
So how do you want to go about that, Chantal?
Yes. So part of what I do is on the ground, working with people individually in a group setting here in Alberta. So in Calgary, Alberta, I have a private practice, and so that's part of the work. But there's no way I could see or work with 100,000 girls in 1 year. That would be absolutely impossible. So
Nothing is impossible. I'm possible. When you
okay.
leave your tea, will be different, girl.
I like that. I like that little reframe. So there just aren't enough hours in a week for me to do it in that way. So
Yeah.
part of what I do is also about getting out there and putting stuff out there. So whether it's videos or blogs or information or TikToks, I'm just getting out there, putting out messages, quotes, ideas, strategies, and trying to blow it out to as many people as possible, so that hopefully my hope is that a teen girl or a parent of a teen will stumble across that and say, oh, I hadn't thought about it that way, or um, oh, I could ask my teen that question. I could have that conversation with them. I hadn't thought about that. Or celebrating, like, actually, I do have that quality. I am kind of awesome. I'm really hoping that that message is getting out there for teens and parents of teens to hear.
Oh, that's cool. So, how long have you been working with teens, Chantal?
Ooh, I guess um, I guess it's been for about over 14 years in nonprofit for sure. And then in my private practice, I have been at this for about a year and a half. So it's still pretty new.
Oh, so it's a new thing that you've started.
The private practice is new. Yeah. Yeah. Working with teens, I've been doing that for a while for sure.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you were involved like with Girl Scouts or things like that as well?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, volunteering is a part of something that I guess is part of that idea of giving back, right? And how do I do that in different ways? So I've tried many different things to connect with youth. I've coached ball hockey because I also resonate a lot with movement and sport, and I see the benefits of that for mental health, for social connections, and so as being a coach and working with young girls that are into the sport and just trying to find their place in the world. I've done that. I've also volunteered with Scouts and Girl Guides, which was a really lovely experience. I think I'm often looking for ways to have my time, the time that I can offer with youth. I'm always trying to do something out there.
Oh, that's awesome. So, Chantal, now here
Yeah.
comes the tea questions. What
Okay.
does what does tea mean to Chantal?
What does tea mean to Chantal? When I think of tea, I think of just like kind of like holding it in both hands is kind of like cozy, comforting beverage that I might share with someone else. So like I don't know, connecting to others, cozy, comfort. These are some of the things that come up for me when I think of tea.
Do you think that tea helps with mental health?
Oh, that's a good question. I do. I don't know that I've ever thought about this in this very intentional way. As I sit here, does tea help with mental health? Yes. I mean, connection to others is a part of nurturing our mental health. Soothing and comfort is something I often talk about with teens when it comes to like dealing with feelings and emotions. I talk about like we express them, we find ways to soothe, and we find ways to distract. And I kind of see like that cup of tea as being like that soothing kind of piece. So yes, I think it does.
Pretty cool, huh?
That is pretty cool.
I always make my guests look at tea differently, always. So now if I give you the letters TEA, what words would come to you for each letter?
Ooh, ooh, I like this. Okay, TEA. Hmm. Okay, T. I'm wanting a word to come to me. I'm drawing a blank, but something will come. Tangible is the word that's dropping in. Together is a word that's dropping in. Um, Today, like as in like do it today, now is dropping in. For E, empathy is. I'm hearing that. Ooh, like ever or every day, excelling. And then for E, accepting, or for A, sorry. Ooh, got my alphabet mixed up there. Right?
EA, they're both vowels.
EA, yeah, close, right?
Do re
There
mi,
you
right?
go. Yeah, yeah. Well, and there's my accepting right there. I made a mistake and we move on. So A,
There.
accepting. Um, yeah, yeah. I think that acknowledging awareness, those are words that kind of come to me for the letters A.
Yeah, I love the way that you express those words because I ask all my guests this question.
Okay.
What words come to their mind? Because not one T guest has the same answer. And what I get from your answers is that today, you're teaching and you're accepting the growth. Because we talked before tea time and you're out of your comfort zone, but you're doing it. You're accepting the growth. You're trying, you're teaching yourself that you can learn from your cup. So when we express how we see our teas, we also give a message to the world. We also show the world who we are when we express through words. And that's why I get all of my guests to tell me words for those letters, because it tells me a little bit more about you as a person as well. So the words that you gave me today, comfort, accepting, empathy, those are all things that you hold in your cup. Those are all things that you give to the world through your cup. Because you want to impact 100,000 teen girls, girl. Not everyone wants to impact 100,000 teen girls. You do. So it shows that you have the empathy. It shows that you have the togetherness. It shows that you're ready to accept, You're ready to grow. And this is what tea time is. You're growing through your story. You're growing through sharing your story. You took a journey. You went to China. Not everybody will do that. Not everybody will take their finger, boom, that's where I'm going, because they're scared. But you did it. And look what you got from it. You learned from it. And before the show, we talked about if we always won, we wouldn't grow. And if we weren't broken, we would never fix ourselves. We would never mend ourselves. And this is why I reach out to certain guests for tea time, because I see something in their cups that others don't. And I see the incredible work that you're doing, Chantal. And I know that you're going to impact 100,000 girls, because we're going to help you reach that 100,000, because we're going to keep sharing this tea time till we reach 100,000 girls. And then we're going to celebrate when those 100,000 girls come together and say thank you. Because that's what you're going to do. You're going to impact, because it is possible. There is nothing that is impossible. It might not happen in the time frame that we want, but it will happen. And I believe that we were brought together through the universe to create this openness so that you could impact these teens. So all the viewers out there who are watching and who will watch the replay, this woman wants to impact 100,000 teen girls with mental health. She wants to bring awareness. So check her out. Get her on your podcast. Get her on your show. Reach out to her. News channels out there. If you're listening, get her on there so we can get this out there, so we can get her goal accomplished. Because that's what Miss Liz is about. Miss Liz is here to help you accomplish your dream and to make a difference. Because that's what tea time is about. We make a difference together, because we need that support. So now I'm going to flip tea time on you.
Okay.
I would like to know, if you could change anything in the world right now, with everything that's going on with COVID and education and mental health, what would you like to change?
I think the biggest thing that I would want to change would be like opportunities for youth to be seen, heard, and connect. I say that in the sense of, working with teen girls every day, and just hearing how lonely things are right now, how isolating they can be, how filled with judgment some of their experiences have been with being, online. And I would just want to just change that. I would want for teens to be boosting each other up. I would want for the world to offer those, those spaces and places for them to feel connected, loved, heard, seen. That would be the biggest thing that I would want to change.
And I noticed when I checked your website, you want to impact the teens from the age of 12 to 19. Why that? Why that age category?
Yeah, yeah. I think that that's such a defining time in terms of like where we start to build our identity, where we start to um, find, you know, a little bit about who we are, what our values are, what our beliefs are. Of course, that journey continues on through life. It doesn't just end at 19. I certainly realize that. I just think that that is a really like it's such a like a fertile time for that to happen, and it's such an important time where those drops in the bucket or the the ripples can be so influencing, and so it really feels like an important time for teens to have access to opportunities to kind of like self-reflect, become self-aware, start to learn about themselves and what makes them wonderful and amazing. Because if that starts there, right, if those seeds are kind of planted there, and of course we hope that they're planted earlier on, and if they're done in these kind of teen years, it's going to impact how they become adults in this world, and the choices they make and the things that they do, and the ways that they show up and the ways that they connect with others. It really feels like an important time that way for me to yeah, to just be a part of that developmental time.
Yeah, because when I checked your website, I was like, that is an important time frame in a little girl's life, right? Because your body is changing also during that
Mhm.
time. There's a lot of mental health that is happening with the body and with the mind and that. So I was really impressed by reading some of that. Uh, so yeah, so I'm just gonna bring up your website so you can share a little bit about it, and we'll kind of move to the side, and you can just explain how people can reach you and all that,
Sure.
and how they can connect with you as well. So I'm just gonna
Yeah.
bring that in. So you can explain a little bit of your website to the viewers out there, Chantal, if you'd like. Can you see the
Sure.
website
Yeah,
on?
and I appreciate that, and I can see the website. Yeah, and I'm also in the process of having a new website created and developed. So when people are seeing this, they may see a very different website if it's like a month down the road or so. But I'd love to speak to this, and maybe like another piece that's kind of dropping in for me is I would really like to be able to reach a larger stream. And so right now my practice is happening in Alberta, and I want to reach out to a wider audience. And so that's something that I'm also looking at doing, and I'm hoping that my website will become a platform for that, where I will have some additional resources for teens and parents to see. I also will be developing some online pieces where there will be like some workshops around self image, body image. I also practice a lot from the world of creativity. And so lately, when I went on my morning walk this morning, I thought, oh, I love writing poetry. I wonder if I could develop a little online workshop for teen girls around finding their voice through words and poems and poetry. So a lot of that stuff, like stay tuned. It's going to be on the website for people to access very shortly.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
that is awesome, Chantal. And I really believe that writing is healing. Like I said, I've written a lot, and it has helped me a lot, especially with mental health, especially when your thoughts are so gathered and so on the go. Sometimes just writing, right?
Yes.
And the best poetry comes from a cluttered mind, I find. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes. So if people are checking out the website, I have the blog there where every week myself and my counseling intern Jessa, she's just so wonderful as well. We create a blog every week. We think about what are the stories that we've been hearing from parents and from teens. What are the things that are going on for them, and we pull together a resource. And so our blog is filled with different things, whether it's pointing people in the direction of resources, sharing some ideas or tips or things that parents and teens can do to nurture their mental health. Um, we also share like different like podcasts or books or things that are helpful, and we really try to like to pay attention to what it is that is current and relevant to parents and teens.
So you work with the teens and the parents?
Yeah, I think like my sessions are oftentimes with teens specifically, and then I always make sure that there's some sort of connection to the parents. Now, of course, this is going to depend on the relationship that the teen has with their parent or what it is that they're wanting to work on. I do strongly believe that people don't exist in silos, right? One, if they come in for a session 1 hour every week or every 2 weeks, there's so much more in their world that's going on. And so I really believe in trying to create bridges to their natural support systems. So whether that's, a teacher at school or a guidance counselor or a parent at home, or another adult in their life that's kind of supporting them, I look at like how can we create bridges to those people so that when you leave the session, this is not just something that you have to hold on to until your next session with me. This is the work that can be done in your day-to-day life.
So I'm looking at your website now and it says the walk and talk therapy. What is that about?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So one of my, I guess, like a mission of mine is like, I want to offer therapy that speaks to teens in different ways. And so the idea of like walking and talking came to me. I think I had heard someone who was offering something similar in the United States with adults. And I thought, well, why can't I do that with teens? Like, I think like some of my best conversations with my friends or with my own children has been like either driving in the car where we're kind of sitting parallel or walking side by side. And so I thought, I'm going to pull this together, and for teens that think that they want to just kind of go for a casual walk and at the same time just be able to kind of talk about what's going on for them, that's an opportunity for them to do that.
And you also have the online therapy. So can anybody book you for that or just in the Calgary area?
Yeah, so for now, as a psychologist, everyone in Alberta can do the online, and then beyond the province, I'm not able to have sessions online. So that would be for folks in Alberta. If it's a workshop or a teaching that way, then that's open to absolutely anybody, no matter where you live.
Okay.
Hmm. Hmm.
So a little bit more on your website. I'm
You're
just
scrolling down.
strolling through it really quickly.
Can
So
I say
you
something about expressive arts real quick? Because I
you
that speaks
sure
to my heart.
can.
Okay. Uh, so yeah, this is another way of working with folks and allowing them to use their creativity. So oftentimes we might have stories about I'm not an artist or I'm not good at art or whatever that is, and so expressive arts has really nothing to do that with that. You can see yourself as a wonderful artist, and see yourself with like very little skill in art and still be able to be expressive. It's about tapping into imagination and creativity as a way of reflecting on your experience, as a way of understanding your experience differently, as a way of being able to express yourself. So I love using expressive arts for whoever is slightly interested in that process.
So can anybody do that or just in Alberta?
Yeah, so the expressive arts, if it's in session, again, limited to Alberta. If it's a workshop, so the poetry workshop that I'm working on, that will be for anybody.
Awesome. So I do see on the side here you have Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, I believe, YouTube, and email, right?
You bet.
So
Yeah,
anybody can reach you on those platforms, right?
you got it. Yeah, you click on those, and it'll take you to the various like things that we've got on those platforms.
Now, did you want me to click on them so people can see what your pages look like so they know how to find you
Um,
or
I like maybe I don't know, the Facebook and Instagram one. You could do a quick click there. Appreciate that.
there you go. So this is how her Facebook group, I believe it's a group, right?
That one there is a page right now.
A page.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then we have her Instagram.
Yeah.
I believe it's coming up, right?
I can't see it on my end.
You can't see it on your end?
Mm-mm.
Hmm.
That's okay.
Okay, might not be it might not be working. But you can just click on the little icons on the side and it'll bring you right to her page. So and that's a little bit more on Chantal. So I really want to encourage when I do my tea times, if you have a website or you have a group or a page where you can be contacted, I also like to look for that information and I like to share it with the viewers because then they can also reach out to you that way, you know, because if they can't reach out to you through a tea time, maybe they can reach out to you through a personal Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest. I like that you're on Pinterest. I'll have to check out your Pinterest. I follow you on Instagram and Facebook, but I'll have to follow you on Pinterest too. So there's a lot of people on Pinterest. It's pretty cool. I get a lot of cool tea tips from there. So,
Oh yes,
so
I know it's a vast world of resources. Pinterest is like one of my favorite, although I can get a little bit lost on there in terms of like, oh, this is a great idea, and then 1 hour later, I'm still on there.
So we have a few comments coming in. So we have Elizabeth Lucas, amazing program, well done, Elizabeth. We have Prince Dam Michadi. I'm sorry if I'm saying your names wrong. I'm really, really sorry. He's saying great. Uh, and then we have a few people. Hey, Liz, you got it working. No, I got my Twitch working through my StreamYard, but yes. And then a few friends who haven't seen me for a while. So hello, Miss Liz. And hello back to you. I really appreciate you guys popping in. And I really want you guys to check out Chantal because Chantal is doing an amazing job. And I really want to help you to get that goal 100,000 girls. Whether we can get you on some podcasts, international speaking, you know, there are a lot of viewers out here that are watching. If you want to know more about Chantal and the goal that she wants to impact 100,000 teen girls from the ages of 12 to 19, reach out to her, please, and let's get this goal accomplished. So before we wrap up your tea time, Chantal, is there anything you would like to share that I haven't asked you?
Hmm. I think I'd like to share. Well, I think one of the pieces that's coming to my mind, and you had talked about this before we hopped on, like the name pyramid psychology. How did you come up with the name? And it just kind of stuck with me because I thought, uh, when I think of the pyramid, one of the most uh, ancient structures that we know as humans, as well as like one of the strongest structures. And I think of that in relation to our teens and to our youth. That there's just they are incredibly strong and their minds have so many different pieces to it. And I think of this idea of like anything that we do to promote their well-being serves them and serves the greater world. And so this work is really near and dear, and I really love how you're allowing me to speak a little bit to it today and to be able to get that message out there. And I think that anyone can be like, when I say impact 100,000 teen girls this year, I mean, if you're a teen and you're listening and you go out there and do something kind for your fellow teen, that's an impact. If you are a teen and you are lit up and saying, you know what, I'm gonna follow my dream or follow this thing I've had, this idea I've had, then that's impacting them. If you're a parent and you're thinking, I'm gonna like Google this, or I'm gonna take a look at what it means to support teen mental health, then that's the impact. So it's a direct and an indirect impact. And I think just being able to speak and have people pay attention to this age group is part of that impact as well.
Well, I really, really appreciate you even coming up with that because it's like I said before the show, not everybody will think of that, right? You went out of your way to say, you know what, I want to impact 100,000 teen girls. You came up with that, Chantal. That is your goal. That is your dream. So let's get that dream accomplished because it is possible. It's
Mm.
like you said, indirect or not direct. You know, let's bring awareness to mental health because we really need to start bringing awareness to mental health, especially during this time where children's structures and routines are all over the place, with COVID going on and that. So let's just really connect together and join together. And anybody who is watching, any of the viewers that will watching now or watching a replay or watching even in a month from now, because these tea times are uploaded on YouTube and you can watch them at any time, reach out to Chantal and see how you can help, you
Mm.
know? And if you have any questions at all on how to bring awareness to mental health, reach out to a mental health activist, an advocate, an author who writes on mental health, anybody who is spreading and speaking on mental health. Talk to them, get to know them, you know. I really enjoy getting to know Chantal before the show. We had a lot of laughs and giggles, and she had a lot of questions for me. But I really, really enjoy getting to know my guest. And with Tea Time, I don't want Tea Time to be a one time thing. I do want to stay in contact with you, Chantal. So if there's
Mm.
anything that does happen, anything at all, you have a workshop that you're planning for the kids for writing, if you need it out there, let me know. It will get out there.
Amazing.
If you need me to share anything, let me know. I'm there. And I always like to have a reunion show with my tea guests. So at the end of the year, I wrap up with all the guests I have during the year.
Mm.
Last year, I had 71 guests join together for a reunion. So this year, my goal is to reach 100 guests to connect. And I believe it's possible. Whether they're in person or not in person, they are connected to me through the year. So we have to really look at things in life like a different cup of tea. We
Mm.
have to really look inwards and see the impact that we're really truly making and celebrate our wins. So, Chantal, this is a win for you today because you are out of your comfort zone, girl, and you did it. You shared and you got your voice out there.
Mm.
So, that is that just goes to show that a simple cup of tea does make a difference. And I want to thank you for joining me today. And again, stay in contact.
Yes.
We are now connected through a cup of tea. So, and we all can make a difference if we try in life. So, and my goal in life is to make a difference with one cup. And this cup is this cup. So, before I leave, if you notice the color of the cup, and if you notice the promos of Chantal, you'll notice that that is one of her favorite colors and one of her colors that's in her logo. I always try to make each tea time personal for each of my guests. So pay attention because there will be quizzes and there will be giveaways this year on Miss Liz's Tea Time. I will be asking you questions on past guests. So remember Chantal because Chantal will be one of my questions in the future. So pay attention, ask questions, join in, leave your comments, ask a question. And if you have any questions at all, leave them in the comments and I will get them to Chantal. So, again, thank you, Chantal, for joining me today on Tea Time. It was an honor, and we will make a difference together, one cup of tea at a time. Thank you.
I love it. Never look at tea the same way again. Thank you, Liz.
You're very welcome, Chantal.